my second podcast. I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. I am working on the Apple Podcast and Spotify podcast. My first podcast is on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, you can watch it on TikTok. Welcome back to Unhinged, the podcast where life gets messy, crime gets weirder, and trauma meets comedy in the middle of it all. I'm MaKayla.
And I'm Laura. And if you thought episode 1 was unhinged, wait until you hear what we've got lined up for you today.
Yep, today it's a mix. So we're going to cover betrayal, bizarre crimes, creepy internet finds, and yes, a few dad jokes. You guys know me. If you know me, you know. To remind us that sometimes laughter is the only survival tool we have.
And for our Dalton listeners, we've even got some local crime talk. Let's kick things off with some unhinged facts about death. Did you know that your actual time of death isn't when your heart stops beating, but when the doctor signs off on it?
And that actually hit me personally after my brother's passing because I was the one that was there with him. I never thought about how someone has to declare the time. Even if life had already slipped away earlier, it feels so clinical and it sticks with you.
Right, like if you imagine it's the exact moment the monitor flatlines or someone whispers time of death dramatically, but in reality it's paperwork, a line in a report.
And then if there's an actual autopsy, it gets even more intense. They document everything. Stomach contents, scars, injuries you may have forgotten from years ago. Old fractures, your whole body is basically given a testimony.
It's your last story, and sometimes it solves a crime, but sometimes it just leaves more questions.
And it is a creepy thought. Someone's job is literally to unzip a bag and catalog every inch of you and then close the file. That's the last chapter of your book. This next segment is about friend breakups, since we've probably all been there. And these are listener submissions. So I just wanted to shout out to Courtney, Ash, and Ashley. Thank you so much for sending in your submissions, and we really hope to see more of these in the future. So we're going to shift gears and let's talk about those friend breakups. Because sometimes losing a friend hurts worse than losing a partner. We've asked listeners to share their stories, and y'all did not hold back. Came in clutch. We appreciate it. So this is Courtney's story. She said, back when I was in my 20s, my best friend at the time started dating my crush behind my back. I eventually found out, our friendship ended, and they have been married for 20 years and have 3 kids. It broke me at that time.
Okay, that's betrayal 101. Like, yes, they built a life, but ouch.
Yeah, that one's a hard one.
Yeah. So this one's from Ash. She says, I didn't support her extramarital activities and she dropped me. She was on every emergency contact I had. She tries to maintain contact, but I just can't be superficial friends. It still hurts 2 years later.
And rightfully so, girl. And I applaud you, because that's like the hardest friend breakup, is when you know that your boundaries are firm and you follow those boundaries. So while it hurts, you're doing the right thing.
And a lot of times I feel like, you know, you're trying to just be a good friend and help someone through that. And just because you're not agreeing with what they're doing, they just drop you.
Right. And that's not a basis of a good friendship. So good job there, girl. You did the right thing.
Stand your ground.
That's the hardest one for me, is when somebody basically, that is family, an emergency contact, and then poof, it's all, you know, you're cutting off an arm, you're cutting off a limb of someone who was like in your life every day. So that's really hard.
And sometimes you just don't even get closure.
Yep.
Like, you just never talk again. And
Right.
that's horrible.
Yep. It's really hard. So this next one is Ashley. And she says, it was my sister-in-law. See, that's even harder. That's family. We were best friends, and she decided to cheat on her current husband with the man who knocked her up at 15. This man was in jail and never part of her son's life. He gets out when her son is 19, and she chooses him over her 3 sons and her current husband. When I try to be supportive to my nephews, she blocks me and stops talking to me. Were we even close like I thought? Did she ever love and care about me?
Ugh. Family betrayal cuts different. You expect friends to maybe let you down, but when it's blood, that's a scar that lingers.
For sure. And I mean, what are you supposed to do? That's family. That's family gatherings. That's all of it. So that's really hard. And what I hear in all these stories is this: the confusion, the moment of, were we ever as close as I thought, or was it always one-sided? That's the grief of friend breakups. It's not just losing the person, it's losing the history. And that is traumatic, okay? It's traumatic. We've all been there. Let's take a turn into one of the wildest crimes to ever come out of Dalton, Georgia. The case of Skyy Raven Marie Mims. This one feels like a movie, but it's real life. Who remembers this one? For sure.
Every time I go to the gas station.
I know. I literally get cold chills every
do.
time I go
So
there.
creepy.
So creepy. Creepy, eerie, all the things.
Yeah. And it's burned into Dalton's memory because it wasn't just tragic, it was senseless.
She was 36, transient, bouncing between states. She was 36?
I guess so.
What? Hold on, let me
didn't know
Google that. She was transient, bouncing between states, a history of fraud, theft, manipulation, the kind of person who always seemed like they were plotting something. But in 2014, that plotting went off the rails.
Skyy didn't just wake up and commit murder. She cased Dalton gas stations for hours. She'd hang out around the bathrooms, scope out the staff, and flat out ask the clerks, how much cash do you keep?
If that's not a red flag.
Yeah.
She collected supplies like she was prepping for a heist movie. Red duct tape, gloves, hoodie, sunglasses, even taped her shoes to hide footprints. She had a fake airsoft pistol painted black to look real.
It's like she wanted to play criminal mastermind, but in reality, she was sloppy and reckless.
She do be sloppy and reckless. I remember that.
Yeah.
And her capture happened pretty quickly. So this was March 9th, 2014. That night, she went to Cancun's Express Shell. The clerk working was D.K. Chaudhry, 37, a hardworking man supporting his family.
She ambushed him. She taped his mouth and eyes, stabbed him, and left him bound and bleeding on the floor. And all for what?
For cash, lottery tickets. And then she took his car too. I actually didn't remember that detail. She took scratch-offs and a joyride, and that's what his life was traded for.
And the detail that chills me is while she was planning, DK was just showing up to another shift. A normal night, a normal job. He never even saw it coming.
And here's the evidence trail. So for all of her planning, she blew it immediately, left her cell phone at the scene, left DK's blood on her knife, her clothes. She was driving a stolen car from Michigan. It was like breadcrumbs straight to her.
And she thought she was clever, but she basically signed her own arrest warrant.
2 days later, police tracked her down to a motel in Cartersville. She didn't even go far. And here's where it gets even darker. She was nude. She was totally naked, surrounded by evidence, the knife, the duct tape, the bloody clothes, the fake gun, stolen lotto tickets.
She told police, just shoot me. Kill me now. Like she knew the game was over.
That's really crazy. And then the trial and sentencing, it's been a while, so I didn't even realize everything that's happened since then. So by 2015, she was on trial for malice unaliving, felony unaliving, armed robbery, aggravated assault, and burglary. The jury didn't take long, life without parole.
She appealed, and in 2019, the Georgia Supreme Court upheld the conviction. Only tossed out a minor charge, everything else stuck.
And that's why Dalton still talks about her, not just because of the brutality, but because of the absurdity of a man's life for lotto tickets. Senseless doesn't even cover it.
And it's a reminder, evil doesn't always look like a mob boss. Sometimes it's sloppy, unstable, and closer to home than you think.
This is a local case highlight. So we're going to talk about a local case, and it's still unfolding. His name is Carlos Salazar Hernandez. His family claims he was pulled over, detained, and placed in solitary while battling diabetes. They say he was denied calls home and left untreated.
This echoes national headlines, like Zeminia's case, about inmate treatment. Dalton PD, of course, has pushed back, saying procedures were followed, and Carlos has since been moved to another facility. Time for a little palate cleanser. Creepy Craigslist.
Yes, let's go. First one. Looking for someone to dress as Bigfoot and chase me through the woods. We'll pay $100.
You would do that.
Yeah,
I would
it's
do that.
tempting. $100. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Okay, here's another. Need roommate. Must be okay with my snakes. Free rent if you help me feed them.
Yeah, that's how you end up on a podcast in the crime segment. Okay, Laura, time for 2 truths and a lie, unhinged edition. So, round 1. Man fakes his own death to see who shows up at his funeral. Number 2, woman marries her Tetris game console. Florida man arrested for teaching his dog to drive his car.
So this feels impossible because they all seem true.
Yeah, they kind of are. The lie is number 2. The other 2, they're 100% real. So I'm going to go back through them. Man fakes his own death to see who shows up at his funeral.
Real.
Real. Woman marries her Tetris game console. That's the lie. I guess I could have maybe figured that one out. And then
You never know.
the Florida man arrested for teaching his dog to drive his car was legit. So
I don't even know what to say.
what would you do?
Unhinged edition. So scenario 1, your best friend steals small stuff like coffee pods, shirts, makeup. Do you call them out or ignore them?
I can't stand a thief, man. I can't. I would definitely have to call them out, but I'd be like, hey girl, you seen this? And then if they lied again after that, I'm mad. I'm mad after that because I ain't gonna steal nothing from you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, scenario 2. You're at a funeral and someone's phone goes off playing clown music. Do you laugh, cry, or both?
Man, funerals are hard, but you know, I've been through some trauma. I might do a little bit of both.
I know, I can't hold in laughter.
Don't matter if it's a funeral or not, I'm laughing. Let's lighten it up. We're gonna do some dad jokes because I'll live for those.
Bring it.
Why don't graveyards ever get overcrowded?
Why?
Because people are just dying to get in. We need a drum. But
that was painful. But good.
Okay, one more. Why can't a nose be 12 inches long?
Why?
Because then it would be a foot.
No. Never invite me back.
Okay, I promise I won't. I'm just kidding. You're coming back next week.
Okay.
I was actually always skeptical of after-death signs from loved ones, but since my brother passed away, I can't help but feel like these little mushrooms I saw at his gravesite just a couple of weeks back was definitely fate. I was meant to see them. Just a little backstory, he did have a mushroom tattoo, and my other brother also has a mushroom tattoo, so I just felt like it was very significant. My mom stopped by and still did not see these mushrooms. I just happened to stop by on the perfect morning, and the next mushroom picture is actually going to look similar to what my brothers actually have tattooed. And then the butterfly you're seeing, it actually harassed me all weekend long, literally for 3 days, stayed on my porch. At first I was thinking, since I had sprayed the porch down, cleaned off the area, that maybe it was attracted to the water, but it actually ended up staying there all weekend, and I guarantee you when I go home today after work, it's also going to be there. So with that said, I want to see the, I guess, like signs that you were sent from a loved one. Some people it's birds, some people it's butterflies, some people it's dragonflies. I want you to drop in the comments what you've seen.
This next case is another local case from Whitfield County, and I knew the victim personally. She did my spray tans and I shopped at her boutique. Her name was Jessica Neal, and her case is one of the most tragic things to ever hit Whitfield County. In May of 2012, Jessica and her grandfather, Don Shedd, were both found gone inside their home in Dawnville, Georgia. The night before, Jessica sent a text that read, "All hell is breaking loose," and by the next day, the nightmare became real.
The person behind it, her own husband, Sonny Neal. My brother was actually incarcerated with him. In court, prosecutors said he took Jessica's life using a blade and ended Dawn's with a heavy wrench. Sonny later pled guilty and was sentenced to life without parole.
County man admits to the murders of his wife and her grandfather. You may remember Sonny Neal spent nearly a week on the run before being captured last year in Varnell. News Channel 9's MaKayla Thurman was in court today as Neal took a plea deal. MaKayla.
I'm standing outside the courthouse where earlier this afternoon a very quick hearing took place because Neal took a plea deal.
But here's where it gets even more unsettling. Jessica's 9-year-old daughter, Maddie, was in the house that night, and she almost had to testify, but her family said they couldn't put her through the trauma.
And thank the Lord.
Yeah.
That's horrible. After Sonny's arrest, her family raised questions like whether someone helped him hide for 8 days before he was caught. Police and the DA said no, that he acted alone. Still, the doubts linger.
And to make it even darker, Sonny and Jessica had $500,000 life insurance policies. But by law, he couldn't profit from the crime. Instead, Maddie's guardianship turned into a long, painful custody battle.
That is really heartbreaking. Jessica's life ended violently, Dawn's life ended brutally, and Maddie lost both her mom and her sense of security in one night. And the fact that she had to even see something like that is so freaking heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's episode 2. Betrayal, crime, Craigslist, and clown music. A little bit of everything.
Remember, these stories aren't about sides. They're about truth, life, and trying to make sense of the chaos.
Stay safe, stay curious, and stay unhinged. We'll see you next week. That wraps it up, guys. Thank you for joining. Go in and hit subscribe on all the platforms. I'll keep you guys updated on anything new, any news, anything like that. And again, if you have stories, please share. That's why I'm here. That's why we're here. So you guys, please feel free to PM me. I had a lot of messages this past week. I got back to everybody, and I'm really excited about what the future holds. I'm just kidding. Oh crap, it's still me. I'll just cut this. Oh wait, no, it's you.
No, you didn't say, but it's real life.
Oh, I did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
You want to redo it?
Yeah.
Just redo it. She was... Dear Lord. So we're going to talk about a local case, and I was looking at other stuff.
Okay, so time for a little palate cleanser called Creepy Craigslist.
Yep, let's go. First one. Looking for someone to dress as Bigfoot and chase me through the woods. Will pay $100. This would be
You'd do
Jerry Johnson. Jerry Johnson. He's all about some Bigfoot. I'm giving him a shout out.
Do it.
I would too. Heck yeah. And oh man, we did our own commentary, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, I said you'd do that.
No, you did it right. I'm like, yeah, girl.
You messed up, MaKayla. It wasn't me.
All right, let's do it again.